To answer your question, no, but I can pull it up real quick.
Just go to Todd Archer, and then it should be one of his first tweets on Twitter.
Todd Archer? I love Todd Archer, dude. He's so cool.
How is he not verified?
Dude, how are a lot of people like that cover football not verified?
How am I not verified?
Oh, that's a different story.
Shut the fuck up.
It's the boy, Bubba, let's coming through. Hella clutch, flawless, can't be touched. It's your boy, Bubba, let's. Yeah, I need that hot take. I need the truth and everything that is not fake. So tell me.
Welcome back, Bubba Bunch, to another edition of the Bubba Let's Sports Podcast, episode 161, attempt number 4. Number 4, my lord.
Spectrum, come on, man. Come on.
Hey, I have Spectrum over here. You have Spectrum over there. We did not have the same story going on yesterday with the outages. So
yeah, but like we said in a previous podcast, Dallas, El Paso.
Right.
Just saying.
Frisco. Just saying. Keep that in mind.
Frisco.
Keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind.
For the time being, this is what we were going to talk about yesterday, and evidently what we're going to talk about today, because we didn't get to finish that episode. So we're trying to make this a short episode just because we have a lot to do. But this is pretty simple. We're going to go through the rosters for the Cowboys, the unofficial depth chart going into week 1. And we're also doing the Cowboys cuts. And since they went down from 80 to 53 over the weekend, we'll talk about a few names that really stood out and who made the roster, who made an impression, and what it looks like for week 1 in Los Angeles, SoFi Stadium, against the Rams.
Dude, that stadium's beautiful.
It is very beautiful.
Beautiful, my lord.
It sucks that the Cowboys are going to have to win that first game in there. Sorry, LA.
That's right.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Since we can't win in our own stadium.
Yeah, because apparently the Cowboys have been a better road team for the past 4 years, but whatever.
Hey, it's a tourist attraction, that's why.
No
home field advantage. It's kind of like we're in the bubble. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Who would have thunk it? So let's talk about the cuts first, Kevin, because we talked about this a couple times yesterday, trying to get through it, but we're still really trying to figure out why this was the case. I think we got really close to the core problem here. But the first name that really stood out on the Cowboys cuts was veteran safety Clinton Dix, who was one of the hugest acquisitions that the Cowboys made over the offseason, along with Gerald McCoy and Don Terry Poe. Now, going into training camp, we both thought he was going to be the starting safety, an improvement from Jeff Heath. And throughout camp, nothing but positive reinforcement and good news coming out of Xavier Woods, Darian Thompson, and Donovan Wilson, who have been with the team for a couple of years now, but have struggled to really maintain a starting position at that safety position. So for Clinton Dix to not really stand out, not really be that veteran starter that we assumed he would be, and to inevitably be cut, it's a shocker.
Yeah, it really is, and I think we were talking about it yesterday too. That I'm very curious to get down to the point of why he got cut. The veteran leadership shouldn't really be a factor of why he got cut. I was thinking of some mechanic stuff. Maybe like his release is maybe a little slow. Maybe his play recognition for some whatever reason is lacking. Maybe just general playmaking. Like I really don't think anything like that would possibly be the reason why he got cut. Core mechanic wise. Like I said, he's a veteran. He's been in the league for 6-7 years now. I think he knows what he's doing. It just what we were talking about. It probably just has to be that some others like safeties, Xavier Woods, Darian Thompson, Donovan Wilson, they probably just showed up and Mike McCarthy was like, you know what? I don't think we need him. And alluding to what you said yesterday, maybe it's just he just wasn't right for the system, this new system that we have.
With Al Harris and Lindquist at that coaching staff position for the backfield. They definitely want to get the best players in a system, but not really focus on they have to fit that system. I think this is one of those like borderline fits of like, hey, we see other guys at that position that could do better for what we're trying to do. It's a lot of disguise. It's a lot more unpredictability, but it's also going to be a change from what we saw last year of like man coverage on one player and then zone on the other. It was really weird. It worked for Byron Jones, didn't work for any other guy. But we're seeing all these names that have struggled in the past few years alongside those names in that safety position like Chidobe Awuzie, Anthony Brown, Reggie Robinson, who they got in the draft, who Jordan Lewis. And we're seeing these guys that say, well, they're not really the perfect corner, but they fit the Rod Marinelli system. Well, now it's like, well, we're looking at the system, but what are the strengths of these guys and how can we put it together in the right way? So
you know, as it should have been this whole entire time.
Right. And that's I mean, basic football fundamentals. Like you don't base it on the system and then just not adapt. You got to use the players that you got and use it to the best of ability. We've seen it with the Patriots for so long, and guess what? It works. So I think it falls into that situation to where Haha just didn't fit, and they saw some potential in some other guys, and they feel confident, which is really nice to see out of Mike McCarthy, saying you're not going to get in with your name, you're going to get in with your play, which is nice.
Exactly. And, you know, like I was saying last time, I really don't feel bad for Clinton Dix just because we know he's going to get a starting position somewhere else. He's going to get signed. He's extremely talented. You know, it just wasn't with us.
Yeah.
So,
and it's very slim pickings in the safety position for free agents. So he is the top guy right now. We'll see with Earl Thomas. You never know. There's always that conversation with the Cowboys, but for now, it's just not a conversation to really talk about.
Yeah, it shouldn't really be. It shouldn't really be something that should be talked about. Especially, you know, I think the whole Jamal Adams situation gave us a good view of why Jerry Jones probably didn't make that acquisition.
And I think the reinforcement of Xavier Woods, Darian Thompson having great camps and them feeling confident in them in week one, we'll see. But I trust them because they know what they're doing for once in Dallas. And it's not just, hey, we pay this guy a lot or we've had him for a long time, so that's why we're going for him. It's because of their play, which is really nice.
Thank God, man. Thank God.
Yeah, for sure. Some other names that really stood out from the cuts: Devin Smith, who had a couple of great games last year at wide receiver.
I was really hoping he would, burst out last season. But after that Redskins game, he just tanked. They didn't really give him enough opportunities, unfortunately.
Of course, we talk about how these guys that are still there or not there anymore, that they just didn't use them efficiently. They didn't know how to use them, much like Tavon Austin, who has now moved on. I think
to a team that will use him, 49ers?
Yes, they know how to use him. He's going back to Cali for that. So they'll use him in a misdirection like they should have in Dallas. Devin Smith is one of those guys that is scrappy. He's a good deep threat, not the best, but at the fourth or fifth option on the depth chart, not bad at all. I think this is another case of where the Cowboys say, I feel confident in my first 4 or 5. And then there was Devin Smith. So he can get a spot somewhere else like he did with New York, and he can make some moves. So it's really nice to see. Good luck to Devin Smith. Rookie sensation, undrafted free agent Francis Bernard did not make the start or the 53-man roster, but he did sign with the practice squad. So it's nice.
Good. Keep him there, yeah.
That is a fan favorite for sure. And I think the last name that we can really talk about is, the final cuts, CJ Goodwin, who I actually think is on the roster right now. It's the unofficial roster, so we'll save him for later. Justin March, a really good depth linebacker. He's been with the Cowboys for a good amount of years. I like him a lot, especially with Sean Lee with his injuries. So I don't know his status yet, but that is a good name that is unfortunately cut by the Dallas Cowboys. So then let's move on to the actual roster.
Ooh, man, this roster, it's looking good. It's looking good, yeah.
Let's start off with the offense, of course. So Dak Prescott, Andy Dalton, Ben DiNucci, nothing really special there. At the running back, we do have another undrafted free agent that did make the team. Yeah. Rico Dowdle
Mm.
He was undrafted out of this year's draft, and really made a case for him to get that roster spot in training camp. So now the Cowboys have 3 running backs on their depth chart alongside Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. I really expect a
Yeah.
lot of great things from all 3 of these guys.
Yeah, I think the whole Rico Dowdle situation is gonna help a little bit more just because we have talked about and we've seen that Mike McCarthy is gonna want to implement Tony Pollard more. Tony Pollard is gonna be a playmaking machine, hence his Instagram name.
Mm,
And mm,
mm.
like that, yeah. And then hey, Tony Pollard might get tired every now and then. Bring in Rico. Why not? Let's get it. I like it.
With the fact that they got rid of the fullback position,
Yeah,
and they let go of Jameis Olawale. I still remember that name.
I like that.
After you learn it, you never forget it, right?
You have to.
It's a matter of the NFL moving toward more wide receivers, more running backs used in a set offensively. 2 running
Yeah.
back sets, especially with the 49ers. They used that a lot last year with Mostert, Breida, and they also used Deebo Samuel as well alongside that. So a lot of misdirection. That's where
Yeah.
you're going to see a copycat league do so, especially in Dallas. So it's nice to see Rico get a shot. And Pollard, I'm really, really liking what Pollard's going to do this year. I expect a lot of great things from him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The wide receivers, a great group. I'm excited for this group
Oh man,
overall.
this group is something else, man. I love it.
Like we've talked about, the Bubba Bunch formation with Amari
Mm-hmm.
Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup.
Oof.
Love it. Michael Gallup was my sleeper pick in the fantasy drafts, and I have him as my flex. I really think he's going to do well, but alongside them, we're seeing Cedric Wilson, who's finally getting his chance.
Oh, thank God, man.
Finally.
Thank God. Thank
I'm
God.
loving him. I've seen a lot of great plays out of training camp. He looks good, great hands, and he finally gets his shot. The 5th guy on that roster for right now is Malik Turner, but I think that's just a placeholder for Ventel Bryant as a backup that they use a lot with special teams. And he can do some good things with the wide receivers. So he's been with the team for a few years now. And he did have an injury scare. Doesn't look serious, but I think Ventel Bryant will take over that 5th spot on the depth chart.
Yeah. And look, and then the last one is Noah Brown. Noah Brown's been on the team for a while, so he's a pretty good replacement option. But look, man, I think we can both agree here that we are so happy that Cedric Wilson is finally getting his chance because his rookie year when he tore his ACL, oh man, I was devastated. He had so much. Well, let me rephrase that. He has so much potential. He
Yep.
has so much promise. If you look at his film in college, he was so good, man. Such a good receiver. And I'm just so happy that he's finally going to be able to have some play time. If anything, I think that, Cedric Wilson could end up being the 4th receiver, not 5th, not 6th. He will be the 4th receiver. He could be the new Randall Cobb, the new Cole Beasley, because he's that talented. He's great. I love him. And I'm just so happy he's finally going to get his chance.
A deep threat to go
Oh,
alongside
big time. Oh,
a
my
very
God.
threatening wide receiver core. You can put any of these guys anywhere on the field, and they can do everything very well, including
Oh.
Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. They can just do anything. Route running abilities, phenomenal. CeeDee Lamb brings that to the table as well. And Cedric can just be that guy that you send on a go route against a deep safety and see if it's there, because Dak Prescott's more confident in his deep throwing ability. And I think with this group of guys, he's going to feel really comfortable.
Oh, man. I
And
can't wait.
trust is a big thing because of the amount of drops that happened last year.
Yeah, for sure. But from what I've seen in training camp, these guys got some pretty good hands this year. So
Loving it so far.
let's keep it that way. What are we going to next?
Well, how about some more threats? How about some more opportunities and options for Dak Prescott? Of course, our favorite Blake Jarwin, the
Look.
future of the tight ends.
I've been saying it since day one. I even was saying it last year. It is mind-blowing to me how Jason Garrett did not see the potential of Blake Jarwin. I don't get it. Every single time that man got the ball, it was a deep play, 20, 30, 40 yards. That man had 3 touchdowns last year, and every single one was like a 40-yard play. How could you not see the potential? I don't get it. if it was the love for Jason Witten, I get it, man. Jason Witten's like a Hall of Famer. He's a fan favorite. I get it. But you have to look past that, man. Blake Jarwin could have had a pop-off year last season. But you know what? Jason Witten's gone. Love you. Hope you do good in Oakland. You look weird in that uniform, but hope you do good in Oakland.
Looks terrible. Las
Yeah.
Vegas, sir. Las
Oh,
Vegas.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes. How rude of me. How rude of me.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, how rude of me. I forgot. Las Vegas Raiders. Yes. But Blake Jarwin, man, I'm telling you, he is going to pop off this season, breakout season. I'm not saying Travis Kelce, George Kittle type, but I'm saying
no.
maybe a good like 800-yard season.
I'm feeling a Zach Ertz type of role in an offense to where he's reliable, much like Jason Wynn, but is more athletic and is more like a receiver because he was built to be a receiver, but he just has the size of a tight end. That's how great of an athlete this guy is. And now in an offense where he could thrive, we're going to get to the preview of the Rams game later on this week, and we'll post that before the game. I'm really expecting a big week for Blake Jarwin.
Oh,
These tight ends are going to have fun with a lackluster linebacker core for the Rams that is missing Clay Matthews, that is missing a lot of the guys they had last year. And they're going to have that middle of the field open. And if Blake Jarwin can find that hole like he did last year when he was given the opportunity, Jarwin's going to have fun.
Oh, man.
But along with that, Kevin, I forgot about this man.
Who?
This was such an under-the-radar pick that I think helps the Cowboys in so many ways because he can be a Swiss Army knife for the tight ends, great blocker, but also great receiver. Blake Bell from the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, you're going to obviously think Travis Kelce is the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, but Blake Bell has been around the league for a while, and he doesn't, pad the stat sheet, but he does enough to where he's efficient, and that's exactly what the Cowboys need is a good backup. And then alongside Dalton Schultz, who's a great run-blocking tight end, you have everything available for your offense at that position to where you can run the ball, run different schemes and different plays on the running game, but also have threats down the field on an out route, on a simple curl route to get that first down. It's all there available for the Cowboys and Kellen Moore.
The one thing that impressed me the most about Blake Bell is that when we picked him up, every single news reporter that was breaking it down, they all said the same exact thing: is that he is such a good blocker. Hey, let's. Who else was a good blocker in Dallas all these years in the tight end position that helped us a lot?
Hassan Witten.
I wonder why. Look, man, Blake Bell, like you said, he was super underrated, but this is a really good pickup. He's going to be such a good run blocker. Hey, man. And also, like you said, I'm not gonna lie. I wish Dalton Schultz had a little bit more chance because his footage at Stanford was quite impressive, if you ask me. But it is what it is. It's the chart. So
the reason why the Cowboys got Dalton Schultz was for the run blocking ability because that's really what his highlights were at Stanford. He can catch. Now I would say he needs to improve his hands some more compared to like Blake Jarwin or Blake Bell. But at a third option. That's a good third option. I'm liking that.
That's what I'm saying basically. But I like it.
And now thinking about it, especially with the injuries that have occurred on that offensive line, for the next 3 weeks, Lyle Collins will be on the IR.
Oh, that hurts, man. That hurts.
It does. He's dealing with I think a hip injury.
I believe so. Yes.
So he'll be out for the first 3 weeks. Luckily, the Cowboys, other than the Seahawks game, don't really have a lot to deal with. Defensive line wise, but I think
on the outside,
on the outside, and to have those tight ends run blocking guys like that, it definitely does help. So moving on to the offensive line, since we are talking about Lyle Collins, right now the starter for the right tackle in week 1 is going to be Cameron Irving, who was from Kansas City as well. So we haven't seen him play with the Cowboys and Cleveland as well. Don't think this is going to be a shining moment for Irving. Just as long as he gets it done, he does his job until Lyle comes back.
I think he understands his role.
For sure.
It's very well aware what his role is going to serve these next 3 weeks.
As long as you're better than the first Cameron that came along last year in Fleming, who I thought was going to be enough.
So, same.
That's not the case.
No, not at all.
But you have Cameron Irving starting at right tackle for the next 3 weeks. You have Terrence Steele behind him, who could also be a left tackle, so he can be some depth for Tyron Smith. And then
Yes.
the rest of the group looks pretty good. I wish it was Connor McGovern, not Connor Williams, but I
We'll
guess
see,
I'll
man.
take
You never
it.
know.
I
We'll never
know.
know.
I mean, he's on the depth chart, so I'm fine with that. Joe Looney, like I said, is going to be the starter, but Biadash is right behind him. And I think he's the future at that position. But for the
Yeah,
time
big time.
being, so he can get a little bit more comfortable, Joe Looney is a solid number 2.
Biadash is going to learn from a great center. That year that, unfortunately Travis Frederick had to go down with his autoimmune disease, he was great. I thought Joe Looney had an excellent season. It's a hard adjustment period the first couple of weeks. Like, you noticed he was a little like out of it, but who wouldn't, So I think Joe Looney is going to have a great season. He's a good guy. He's gonna teach Biadash a lot.
Of course. He's a great
Yeah.
teammate, a great leader.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him in that locker room, and I love that about Joe Looney.
Yeah.
The first test is going to be Aaron Donald, so we'll see.
Oof,
That's
yeah.
tough, but if he can handle that in a certain way, there's no amount of like stopping Aaron Donald. It's containing Aaron Donald. That's going to be your fight, and if you can handle that, I think the Cowboys will be good for the rest of the year.
Let's say a quick prayer this season for Tyron Smith, because my man has unfortunately he's become somewhat injury prone these last couple seasons, and it breaks my heart because he was an Iron Man until these last 2 seasons. But quick prayer, Lord, please protect Tyron Smith. Amen. Thank you very much.
Protect that hamstring.
Protect his elbow that is the size of a regular human knee. My Lord.
We're gonna need a bigger brace.
Yeah, insane. I'll never forget that clip. Mind blown.
Still shocks me. And then a guy that I think did really well for not having a big role last year, Brandon Knight. I think Brandon Knight's a good, solid backup, and if he gets his opportunity, I think he'll take advantage of it. I think he did pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll back up Zach Martin really good. I mean, do we really have to say anything about Zach Martin?
No,
Guy's a beast. He's
he can
insane.
stay healthy. He's there. I could honestly see Brandon Knight maybe even being a competitor on the left guard position.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know, if he can compete against Connor McGovern and Connor Williams ain't doing the work, then there's a competition there, and that's fun.
I mean, Zach Martin, all pro. He literally does it every single year. He's so good.
He's not losing that.
Also, little side note, I don't know if you saw this morning, but they restructured his contract.
They did. $8 million, I believe, they freed up.
Yeah, $8 million saved. Don't know what they're trying to do there, but hey, man, great.
Jane Slater said, no, it's not what you think. It's not Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas, yeah. That's the first thing that came to my mind, but I was like, nah. It's not going to happen.
They're doing the right things. They're doing it well. I trust them.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, man, our offense looks stacked.
Yeah, so let's get to the good stuff, right?
This is the more conversation-worthy side of the Cowboys this year, in my opinion.
Let's get to that defensive line.
Ooh, all right.
Okay, obvious DeMarcus Lawrence, right?
Of course, money man himself.
Okay, Don Terry Poe will start at tackle.
Course. Yes.
Surprisingly, Tristan Hill gets the starting job.
This is the one that really surprised me. And I remember you sent me the tweet when it was announced that Tristan Hill was going to be the starter. Look, Gerald McCoy, I hope you're doing great. We will see you next year. We will see Gerald McCoy next year. He's coming back to the Cowboys for sure.
He wants to play for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's coming back next year. But look, man, I was a very, very, very big doubter on Tristan Hill. I remember when we drafted him in 2018. I didn't like the pick at all. I thought it was an awful pick. I did not like his footage. I just didn't like it. And proves me right. Last year, he was just – his rookie year, he was not it. 2019, just the same thing, really. The reports that you mentioned that he was just falling asleep in the meetings, it was just proving my point even more. But you know what? Hey, man, I guess this training camp, he decided to, let's go. Let's put in the work. Let's prove my worth. Maybe he flipped the switch. Something happened in him. Look, man, prove me wrong. I'm happy that he made the starting position, but let's see if he can keep it.
the coaching staff is not going to be the talking point of why Tristan Hill possibly could do well this year. He has a lot of upside. Wasn't huge on him out of UCF, and the character issues previously last season were a concern for sure.
Yeah.
But if we come to the point of this season, in February, January, whatever the case may be, and we hear that Tristan Hill had an amazing season, that the coaches love him, that he finally bounced back and became a guy that they want to keep in Dallas for a long time, I think a lot of credit should go to Mike Nolan and Jim Tomsula.
Oh, absolutely.
Jim Tomsula makes it work with anybody, and as long as there's talent there, then he will make it work. He's done it with the San Francisco 49ers for years. He's worked with the Washington Redskins for years.
Mike Nolan with the Saints,
Mike Nolan with the Saints. He knows the defensive fronts and how to make them dominant. And I feel like they got a hold of Tristan Hill and said, you can't do this anymore. You can't be falling asleep. This ain't UCF anymore where you're undefeated. You're not the national champions anymore.
Oh, yeah. National, yeah.
National champions. We want Bama.
Yeah.
So now you're in Dallas. It's a whole different ball game, and you're not going to get the start. You got Antoine Woods right on your ass. He's going to want that job.
He's my boy. I thought he was going to win the position. I love Antoine Woods. I've said it multiple times. But, hey, man, like I said, he's a surprise. Prove me wrong.
And, well, you also have Neville Gallimore behind him, too, who needs some time. But if he gets the hang of it, could easily swoop in and take that position before Gerald McCoy.
What have we said about Neville Gallimore? He is a big boy.
It's a big boy.
He is a dangerous man. Look, I agree with you. Neville Gallimore could come in and steal this position because, dude, the footage we've seen of him is insane.
Yes.
It's mind-blowing.
But that competition for Hill will be nice.
Mm-hmm.
It will be a good thing in the long term. And if he's earned that spot, like we just discussed with Xavier Woods, with Darian Thompson, these guys are earning their spot. Cedric Wilson, Ventel Bryant, just name some names. Like, they're not standouts, they're not superstars. They earn the job, and that's what you want in Dallas. Another guy like that caps off that defensive line alongside Tyron Crawford is Bradley Anae.
Oh, my
That's
boy.
a perfect example
I
of
love
who
that
won
boy.
the job. Because this man, I've had my critiques. Say he's a little bit too small, may not be the biggest boy for an edge rusher, but he's got heart, he's got effort, and that's all I could ask for in a smaller defensive end. If your fundamentals are there and you're willing to sacrifice your body every play, be on my roster. I don't care if you're 5'4". If you get to the quarterback, you do it right.
I've been a day one believer in Bradley Anae. Day one believer. I thought him and Neville Gallimore were the steals of the draft, in my opinion, for the Cowboys. I've said it from day one. I think I knew for a fact he was going to make this roster. At one point, I even called him a starter before we got, these like Don Terry Poe, Gerald McCoy. I thought he was going to be a starter. That's how much faith I had in him because he has the heart. He has the film. He is great. I'm glad he's on the roster. He's gonna be phenomenal. But hey, let's. There's one guy right there that you're missing. What's his name?
Oh, I'm sorry. He's only one of the best defensive linemen in the league that we got during the offseason. Everson Griffin.
Oh my dude.
How could I forget about Griffin?
Hey. I'm sorry. Let's really quick. Who's he behind?
DeMarcus Lawrence.
What a combo. What a combo. DeMarcus Lawrence, Everson Griffin.
See, okay.
Opposing quarterbacks.
Let's see.
You're in for something.
So what I'm thinking they're going to do, because on the step chart, I don't think Tyron Crawford's going to be a starter.
He's not.
You're going to have... Oh, okay. Hold up. Okay, this is where it gets serious. Okay, we get to the linebackers and corners, but let's just have fun with it because we are wrapping up the time. So, 4-3.
4-3, yes.
DeMarcus Lawrence. Don Terry Poe. Tristan Hill. Everson Griffin.
Oh.
Conversations being said and reports about Mike McCarthy wanting to use Alden Smith as a linebacker.
Yes, I have
And
those. Mm-hmm.
Randy Gregory, once he gets
I have.
reinstated, which I believe is week 7.
He already got reinstated.
He did get reinstated, but he can't come back until week 7
Okay, I didn't see that. He also got extended, by the way. Congratulations to him.
through 2021.
Hopefully hopefully he gets on track. I'm proud of him. Thank God.
Yeah, it's about damn time.
Uh,
I was okay if they let him go, but I completely understand why you keep him.
Hmm.
I thought it was going to be another Rolando McClain, but good for Gregory to get back in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But then you have Alden Smith rushing you from one side.
Oh my goodness.
If you don't have Alden Smith, guess what? You got Dorrance Armstrong, who I think is the sleeper on this defense.
Yeah.
I love me some Dorrance. And then you got Lane Vander Esch and Jalen
That's
Smith.
Lane Vander Esch. Damn, man. I thought he had it, but unfortunately, he's now dealing with a pelvis injury. He will be back week 4, and I'm hoping he can come back strong and healthy. But it's gonna be Jalen. It's gonna
Is
be
it
Jalen.
confirmed that Vander Esch is on the IR?
That's what I read.
Because read that it was only Sean Lee and Lyle Collins.
Oh, so then was I reading a possible speculation article? Maybe
On the quick search,
look that up real quick. Google has all the answers.
let's see. Because I have not seen anything as far as saying he is out, but I know Sean Lee is.
Yeah, Sean Lee's for sure out, but there is one guy on that linebacker core that I love personally, but I'll talk about him in a bit.
You know, there's nothing really coming out about him. That's kind of weird.
Really? Maybe I read a false
I'm seeing
article.
the neck injury, but I'm not seeing pelvis injury.
Maybe I read a false article.
Maybe you did, sir. Are you bringing false information? Are you bringing fake news to the Bubble Let's Play
I
podcast?
I guess so, man.
How
Well,
dare you?
either way, you know what? Let's be happy that it's a false article. All right?
We'll find out later on.
Yeah,
We'll say that on the preview. We'll save that for the preview.
yes.
So
yes,
Lane Vander Esch, Jalen Smith, a good group of linebackers that are behind him.
Possibly Alden Smith, like you said.
Yes.
What I will say though is that if it is true about like Lane Vander Esch, or who could replace Sean Lee, there's a name in this depth chart that I'm so happy is still there. He has had an excellent preseason the last 2 seasons. Luke Gifford.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. You know, I could even say that if he was on another team that needed desperate linebacker help, he would be a starter. He is so good. Like I said, the last 2 preseasons have been amazing for him. He has impressed the coaches. I mean, well, coaching staff last 2 seasons not that much to talk about, but still, you get the point. Look, man, I love Luke Gifford. He plays with a lot of heart. He knows what he's doing. I'm so happy that he's still on the team. When I saw this depth chart, I actually got really happy that his name was still on there. Thank God.
I feel the same way about Joe Thomas.
Joe
I feel
Thomas was
like
better.
Joe Thomas, when they acquired him from the Browns a few years ago, was a solid pickup, especially with the injuries going on with Sean Lee. Here we are again, right?
Again, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, the unofficial depth chart, of course, this is what we're looking at. Justin March, who we just said it was cut, is on this depth chart. I don't know how that's going to hold up. I think it's just a placeholder for Sean Lee. We'll see, but he's on the roster for now.
Yeah.
The last thing on that defense that we need to talk about is, of course, the major issue for the Cowboys is their secondary. Now, conflicting reports, but I'm seeing how they're going to announce the starters, who's going to be at what position, and I'm actually okay with it. I'm actually feeling confident in this group of guys because Trevon Diggs has been amazing.
Yes, he has lit up training camp. Have you seen all those highlights they've been posting about him? He's covering Gallup, Cooper, and CD easily.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I love those reports that are saying that he talks to his brother Stephon Diggs every day about what he's doing wrong in practice. He never talks about the good things. He always says, "So how can I improve on this aspect? Since you are a receiver, this is going to help me in the NFL, especially from a really solid receiver in Stephon Diggs." So he's constantly wanting to consume information, and he has earned that number one spot on that secondary. Like he has definitely impressed everybody. I thought he was going to be one of the starters, but he is ultimately the number one guy to look forward to, and I love that.
Thank
So
God,
then
man.
I'm seeing that, and it says it on the step chart, that Anthony Brown is going to start over Chidobe Awuzie because they're thinking about moving Chidobe to safety.
Yes.
And I like that. I want to see something different at Chidobe. And they're saying that Brown and Cheeto, they're actually playing better to their strengths, and they're playing some schemes that are actually what they were doing in college. And that's where they strive. That's where they saw the potential in them, which is really nice to see. And I'll let you get to it in a second. But now they're saying that for the slot corner, Daryl Worley will now be a starter for that because they like what they see out of him.
I did see that. And you know what? Daryl Worley has actually emerged. I saw a report today that he is actually running the third team right now in camp, in practice. For him to be running the third team, that's pretty impressive.
Very impressive, yes.
Very impressive. And also, might I add that Jordan Lewis is also going to be helping Darren Worley when it comes to the slots. I love Jordan Lewis. I've always been high on him personally. And I think so far his resume has stood out for him. But there was one cornerback that actually our only player that has opted out of COVID this year. It was what was his name? Maurice. Was it Kennedy or Kennedy?
Kennedy, yeah.
Kennedy, Maurice Kennedy. I was actually a little bit bummed out when I saw that he opted out. He was a pretty good corner for the Ravens, a slot corner for the Ravens a couple of years ago. So that's why Darren Worley got brought up, but he's actually improving. CJ Goodwin has also been here. I've been hearing some good things about him. I think right now our cornerbacks are, I'm not going to say they're great. I'm not going to say they're bad, but I'm going to say they're right in the middle. As of right now, we have a good group of guys. Trevon Diggs is the absolute, just mind-blowing surprise. But I think we're going to be okay, but I still think there is room for improvement.
The Jordan Lewis and Worley competition is the most surprising for me. Since Jordan Lewis is injured, we don't know if he'll play on Sunday. Daryl stepped up and looks to be the starter as a slot corner. You said it's a good group of guys, and I'll further that by saying, but they have a lot to prove.
Of course, 100%.
What's really nice about this, though, is that this secondary does not have to be elite. When you have a defensive front that has 5 guys at least that can get to the quarterback at an elite level. I mean, they can get to them, and they can pressure, just be a distraction. That way they have to get the ball out super quick. So you only have to worry about slants, maybe out routes and screens. Like that's what you're going to limit them to. And even then, these guys will fight for every yard, and they will get to the ball at the fastest way possible. So your speed from the secondary can improve on that. As long as you're tackling, which has been an issue for the Cowboys for so many years, as long as your tackling's there, I think it'll be very hard for a team to score more than 21 points, and to even get to that will be a challenge. And we'll see it week 1 against a offense like the Rams that still needs a lot to improve on. Don't really know what their identity is right now. They just named their starting running back. And we'll see what they do with their wide receivers like Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. Higbee is probably the best threat for them right now. But it's all dependent on what Jared Goff does. I think with this defense, they have a lot to prove in week 1. And yes, there is room for improvement in that secondary. But for right now, I'm feeling good with the group of guys that they got.
I think when it comes to the Rams, the biggest test is going to be Cooper Kupp, in my opinion, because Cooper Kupp is so dynamic. Hey, Cooper, give me a little bit of points in fantasy, yeah? So
Please don't.
I really think Cooper Kupp is going to be the biggest test. Robert Woods, no shit on Robert Woods. I love Robert Woods. I think he's a great receiver. But Cooper Kupp is a little bit more of a
He's a
of a
threat.
threat, in my opinion. So look, man, we'll see. Like I said, it's a good group of guys, but they have a lot to prove, and I think they can improve a little bit more throughout the season.
Last thing.
Mhm.
Who is going to be the punt and kick returner for the Cowboys, in your opinion?
You missed the safety, sir.
Well, the safety, we talked about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You're
we
right.
talked about it enough.
Yeah, we did. Punt returner and kick returner. So, if I had to choose right away, a name that comes up to mind, and I think this is how he will be able to prove himself, is Cedric Wilson, in my opinion. I think Cedric Wilson could have a pretty good chance at being punt returner, kick returner. I really don't think they'll want to risk CeeDee Lamb, punt returning, kick returning, because that's what they did with Des Bryant when he was a rookie. But I don't think they're going to want to risk it with CD. So,
But that's
in
different.
my opinion,
That's different, though.
you think so?
Des Bryant was the number one guy. He had to be on the field for the majority of the snaps. CD does not have to do that. CD can punt or kick return, take a couple plays off, and then hit the offense. He can do that. And with that speed, the agility that he has, dear God, it saves you a lot of time and a lot of effort if you use CD to gain better field position than using him on the offense and having to go to him for first downs. If you can gain an extra 20, 30 yards with CD on a punt return, that is better than me trying to use CD in the offense and trying to get 10, maybe 5, then 4, run the ball, and then try to do it all over again. It saves you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of effort. So, I mean, I think it should be a combination of CD and Tony Pollard. Now, with Pollard having more influence on the offense now and what they're going to use him for, maybe Cedric does step up. But I'm seeing more upside if we're going with Pollard and CD.
I can see that.
So,
I can see that.
And John Fossil isn't against the idea of putting CD at punt or kick returning. He just doesn't want to say. And I think that is the perfect way of doing it because, first of all, he knows what the fuck he's talking about in special teams. He did it in Los Angeles. He was the best special teams coordinator last year. And for a majority of his NFL career, he has been the best special teams coordinator, which they need. But it's also a representation of the entire franchise saying, we're going to be unpredictable. We are going to be a less predictable offense, less predictable defense. We're going to disguise more. And I think saying, oh, well, we don't know who's going to be the punt kick returner. We know deep down, but you don't know, which is scary because if you got to worry about CeeDee Lamb, God bless your soul.
Yeah, for real. 100%.
That's how I feel.
And also, I guess we'll end off the depth chart on a very high and good note. Greg the Leg is our kicker, and he is looking so good. Thank God that groin injury has finally healed up.
Yes.
John Fossil has personally come out and said that he looks 100%. He's banging 60-yarders in camp. Thank God, Greg the Leg.
John Fossil and the Greg relationship continues on like it did in L.A.
Thank God.
When it was spot on, he was the best kicker in the NFL.
Yeah.
He looks great. Greg the Leg is back. I got him on one of my fantasy teams, so kick all you want against LA. But it sucks Kai couldn't be the guy.
Yeah, it does.
But if your replacement is Greg the Leg, I am complacent with that.
I will
to
agree.
say the least.
I will agree.
And then you got LP Ladisaur, so you always you got a dub.
Go. Instinct goat. I love him.
You could be a chemistry teacher one day and then be the long snapper another. So,
do you remember that bullshit penalty they gave him last season?
Yes.
Yeah, that it cost us the game.
What that he like?
That
he moved the ball.
Yeah, he like double clutched the ball or something like that.
And then the replay showed that he didn't move it at all.
Hey, dude, it was ridiculous. Oh, whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. Roger Goodell, at me next time.
For real.
Because that's on you.
Roger Goodell needs to add a lot of people. Just saying.
Well, I mean, he should do his job. So I'll just leave it at that. All right. Yeah. So that's going to do it for episode 161 of the Bubble Up Sports Podcast, Cowboys Roundup of the Week. This is going to be one of many episodes as we close in on the beginning of the NFL season. So stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow. And we'll see you next time on the Bubblehead Sports Podcast.
Yeah, hold on. Tell me who's your top 5 quarterbacks right now, dead or alive, huh? And how much do you care about a ring if the best player got carried by the team? Now would you lose if it been a better draft pick? And do you cuss when your team get their ass kicked? Now do you keep it classy?